Hello and welcome to Out of the Fog. I'm Karen Hager. Each week at this time, we gather for spiritual conversation with enlightening guests, and I'm glad you're here. One of the things that I love the most about doing this podcast is that I get to learn about things that are completely new to me. I don't have any experience with or any level of knowledge about plant medicine. Anecdotally, I've heard from students and from clients about how they've had powerful experiences and felt lasting expansion after working with plant medicine. So when today's guest's email dropped into my inbox, I thought, let's learn something new today. Oh, by the way, you can find out more about my work as an intuitive guide and spiritual teacher at KarenHager.com. And you can follow me on Instagram, where I'm Fog City Psychic, for more Out of the Fog fun and even jigsaw puzzle madness. Okay, so let's get into it. Once available only to shamans and to consciousness teachers, plant medicines, including cacao, which is our topic today, plant medicines are now available to the rest of us. My guest today is Judy Machado, and she says that cacao is a heart-opening medicine that can take us deeper into our heart and help us live more authentically and explore our consciousness. Are you ready to meet her? Judy Machado is a lifelong entrepreneur who became infatuated with the spiritual story and significance of ceremonial cacao. She worked with a shaman to deepen her connection with the plant medicine and began to experience a deep relationship to this beautiful consciousness, receiving messages to share with the world. Cacao has exponentially accelerated her spiritual journey, and she now shares how others can connect to this cacao spirit for guidance through a daily cacao ritual, cacao ceremonies, awakening to 5D, ceremonial coaching, and wellness retreats. Judy includes ceremonial cacao rituals in all her initiatives with her line of ceremonial cacao called Goddess Temple Cacao. She is the author of Life Purpose Playbook, creator of Goddess Temple Cacao, and a consciousness coach and mentor. You can find more about all of this, about Judy and her work, at goddesstemplecacao.com. Judy, welcome to Out of the Fog.
Karen, thank you so much for having me today. It is such an honor to be here with you today and to speaking to your beautiful community. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm very glad you're here. I don't know if I've ever said the word cacao so many times in a row. So maybe I should start by asking, I don't really know what it is. What is cacao?
Beautiful. Thank you. So cacao is the main ingredient to make chocolate. Cacao is grown on a tree. It's actually a fruit. Inside the fruit are all these little seeds. And inside the seeds, when we crush them, is the cacao, the actual cacao, which we grind into a paste and has been for centuries revered by our beautiful indigenous families, our ancestors. And we're going to talk a lot about why and why it's just such a beautiful daily practice and what it can do for us, especially today with this ever-changing world that we're living in right now.
What is the difference between cocoa or cocoa powder and cacao?
So cocoa powder is spelled different. Cacao is spelled CACAO. It's very important when you buy anything because most people will claim they have raw cacao, but then they will spell it CACOA. And cocoa, cocoa actually has it's been processed and it's not in its natural form. So cacao, CACAO, is the natural ingredient that comes from those little seeds I was telling you about, either crushed and turned into a paste or into little pellets, which are called the cacao nibs. You may have heard of those. They're so delicious. Or even a cacao powder. But cocoa, as normally referred to with, like cocoa, the drink, like hot cocoa.
Right.
Think of hot cocoa. So usually there's sugar involved in that. There's milk already, some sort of whey proteins or milk already included in cocoa. Whereas cacao is the natural main ingredient, the main fruit, the main product.
And from the tiny bit I understand about plant medicine, it feels to me like the idea is to get as far away from anything processed, anything added. Isn't the part of the whole idea of plant medicine to connect to something older, clearer, purer, more clean?
Yes, yes. In fact, if I can share a little bit of what plant medicines are, I think it will really help, because it really helped me as well in the beginning to absolutely, it's almost like it zoomed me into outer space to understand what is a plant medicine, to then have the honor and the reverence, and then come back into this daily practice, which has forever changed my life and so many others. And so plant medicines are, all plants are either teacher plants or they're medicinal plants. So all plants on our planet, teacher or medicinal. And the teacher plants are the ones that we call master plant medicines, teacher master plant medicines. They are here literally to teach us to go back into our hearts, back into ourselves, because we can get so caught up in the outer world, and we start to believe that that's the reality, and this is sort of our this is our life, and this is what's been given to us. When we really, they help us to remind us that we are the actual creators when we head back into our hearts. And there are cosmic spirits that have manifested themselves here onto our earth in certain plants, and those we call master plant medicine, the teacher plant medicines. And you might ask, well, why would cosmic spirits manifest themselves into these plants on our earth? Why couldn't we just communicate with these cosmic spirits by speaking to them? And that's such a beautiful question. Of course we can. And at the same time, we are expressions of the universe, the oneness, and we have agreed to come here to Earth School. We have agreed to forget who we truly are, at least at the beginning of this process. And so part of that also was that we come here to this Earth School, this beautiful game that we're playing, and we have this limited body, this form that we live in. It's this body. It's some call it an earth suit, and in this form, this body, which is a bit of a limitation when you think of the fact that we are expressions of God or oneness, we have this body. However, in this body, when we drink or eat something, it immediately goes into our blood, into our body, and we can have an effect. And this is why these cosmic spirits have manifested themselves into some of our plants. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of some other plant medicines you may have heard of. Some are ayahuasca, which is a beautiful plant medicine that is traditionally enjoyed and experienced in the jungles. It can be done also within a home with a shaman, but for the most part, especially in Peru, our beautiful Shipibo Canibo tribes are facilitating so many beautiful ceremonies for people out in Peru as well. Another one could be psilocybin or even cannabis. So many other plant medicines, which many of them are psychedelic. So they immediately take us into a journey, a psychedelic journey inside of ourselves, so that we can see beyond our current box, our current limitations, which is just our current space of consciousness, wherever we are in this beautiful journey of consciousness. We go through different layers of consciousness, and through each layer, we have sort of this veil around us. And when we change our beliefs, we expand our consciousness. We're able to see more, because it's our beliefs that create our reality. And so these beautiful plant medicines are, again, teacher plants. They're here when they're literally waiting for us to call, to answer their calling. If you're hearing about them quite often, they're calling on you. And when you answer the calling, you go to drink them. You go somewhere to drink them. In some cases, if it's a psychedelic, it's with an initiated facilitator or a shaman. And with the case of cacao, it's possible, because it's not a psychedelic, that you might buy some ceremonial cacao and drink this at home and enjoy this beautiful journey with these plant medicines. Now, what's very important when you connect with these plant medicines is your intention. Just like everything in life, these plant medicines want to teach us that intention is our magic wand. We are creators. When we do something, what is our intention? for what we're going to say to this person, or even on today's beautiful discussion, or maybe you're working on a project or whatever it is, a vacation. What is your intention? Ask and you shall receive. This is what these beautiful medicines are wanting to take us deep into a journey, into our hearts, into our remembering that we are the creators, that we actually came here agreeing to play on Earth School for a little bit, to agree to forget who we truly are so that we can experience the joy of remembering. And we experience that joy of remembering through what I like to call the sacred journey of evolution. And evolution, as we know, is spelled EVOL, which is love backwards. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that we have to go through this journey of remembering by experiencing love backwards, the challenges, the suffering, the not understanding why things are happening. Most of us have been through at least a few different challenges in our life that were heartbreaking. And then afterwards, we realized the gifts in the challenges, whether they were just a shift in a belief, in a mindset, or a shift in a focus to something else, which therefore created a beautiful change in our life. And so these plant medicines wish to support us now more than ever, with so much madness happening in the world, so many stories being created at a mass level, so much fear, to go into our hearts and remember that we are the creators. The more of us that focus on love, the more we can manifest that into the collective consciousness. And yes.
I got excited. I beg your pardon. Is that part of why the ceremony is important then too, Judy, because of not just honoring the plants, carriers of this wisdom, but in honoring ourselves and our intention? Is that why we would use this ceremonially?
Yes, exactly. First, we would start with buying ceremonial cacao versus just cacao. And the reason for that is because ceremonial cacao has been planted by farmers or individuals who are aware that it is a ceremonial cosmic spirit. So with love and reverence, it is fermented in that same intention. It is packaged, it is delivered. Who is selling it, who is packaging it, that whole process is ceremonial. So it's already been gifted with so many blessings and love, if you can imagine. So it's like getting extra infused frequency by the time you receive it. And then when you have it, it's adding your love and reverence and devotion. In fact, the shift for me has been making this beautiful spirit. I call her Mama Cacao. Many of us call her Mama Cacao. When you experience her, you know why you call her that, because she's so loving and giving, and just this beautiful wrapping of love and unconditional love that she gives to us. And when we bring love, devotion, reverence to when we drink her, that is when she will take us on what I call a magic carpet ride, is bringing this devotion and speaking to her. Those are the two combinations, bringing the devotion, the love, the reverence, and then speaking to her. Because when I was starting my journey 4 years ago, I didn't really know what it was. I was looking online, but I knew I wanted to drink this. There was something going on. I knew that it was an indigenous sacred ritual. And so I thought, okay, the indigenous, so much wisdom that our beautiful indigenous families have, everything that they create, that they say is sacred, I would love to learn, because it's reconnecting us back to Mother Earth and to our roots and to who we are. And so this beautiful medicine, in the beginning, I was hearing, even though I couldn't find at the time, is it safe to drink every day? Couldn't find anyone really talking about drinking every day cacao in a full cup format. But I knew in my heart, I was hearing, Judy, talk to me every single day. Talk to me. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're afraid of. Tell me everything. Talk to me every day. And then on my other ear, I was hearing, Judy, drink me every single day until you feel like you don't need to do this every day anymore. Because for another conversation, when we can get to a point where we don't actually need to drink the medicines to connect to the spirit. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, everything is through baby steps, and we experience this incredible reverence and honoring and journey. And it's when we bring this devotion and reverence and love and calmness and quiet to that beautiful sacred practice and ritual that could literally be 3 minutes or 1 hour. It doesn't matter how long you have every day. Plus speaking to her, Mama Cacao, thank you for calling on me. Thank you for seeing my readiness to change, because it was only just 10, 15 years ago that these plant medicines were only calling on shamans and conscious teachers, because you had to already be in this very high frequency and state of consciousness to be able to respect the teachings and the wisdom that these plants wish to share with us. And just like us humans, our purpose is constantly changing, right? We change as we evolve. We have new transformations, and then our purpose changes. Same with these beautiful plant medicines. Their purpose changes. Just recently, in the last 6, 7, 8 years, their purpose have changed significantly, where they are calling on more and more and more of us at a time right now where we need more than ever to turn off our TVs, to stop looking at all of our answers outside of us, and to go from within, ask from within. And that is opening up this beautiful direct channel back to the cosmos, back to our oneness. And that is what these plants wish to do for us.
You are listening to Out of the Fog, and I'm talking with Judy Machado. She is the creator of Goddess Temple Cacao, and you can find out more about Judy and her work at goddesstemplecacao.com. Cacao is CACAO, goddesstemplecacao.com. So, Judy, when someone drinks cacao in a ceremonial context with that honoring the sacred and intention set, what does it feel like? What happens? I heard you say it wasn't a psychedelic.
Yes.
What does that feel like?
Well, it's beautiful. Many people wonder, what can I expect? What does it feel like? And it's so beautiful. It's sort of an interesting question, because I always say expect everything and expect nothing. Because the beautiful, sometimes we will sit in a space of quiet and we will feel sometimes like nothing is happening. And it's possible during the drinking that nothing happens, but then afterwards, everything starts to, it depends on sometimes our expectations, right? Sometimes it's a reflection of what's going on in our life, typically in our patterns. And I find that when we have these big expectations, that's usually when it seems as though there's just some quiet and peace, but there might not be anything that you were aware of that happened in that moment when you were drinking. While others will feel immediately a sensation around the heart, a hot sensation. Some may even feel a little bit of tears or sadness come through, because we have our hearts, if you can imagine, are just so full of band-aids on top of one another. It's like we put band-aids on top of one another with each pain and each suffering and each event that has happened in our life that perhaps we felt was difficult or challenging. We created a story, and so we put a band-aid over top of our heart. And so these medicines wish to remove the band-aids one at a time, because it's very important that it's done gently, no matter which medicine it is, gently, so that we can integrate that release. So what I mean by it removes is suddenly you may have a memory show up for you. And it's the medicine. Cacao wishes to open up our heart chakra, bring us this feeling of love and peace. You're definitely going to feel that love and peace. And then she sprinkles into your awareness a story, a smell, a person, a belief, something that is definitely somewhere a part of a limited story that you're hanging on to. So you're gonna have this, perhaps it's a memory, or you're thinking suddenly about, the person yesterday who upset you. This is going to come into your memory, perhaps while you're drinking in the ceremony. And the reason for that is because our heart is more open than normal. Our heart is more expanded and open. And when that shows up, the cacao wishes to bring into your reality different perspectives around those stories, those limitations. And you start to actually, sometimes it is an actual perspective that you see and you feel within you. And other times it's just a knowing. You might, remember somebody that upset you yesterday, and then all of a sudden you're feeling love around that. You're feeling forgiveness. You're feeling a lightness versus how triggered you were 2 seconds ago when you just thought of her again. It's like you could feel it being released from you. And it's such a beautiful process. And this is why in the ceremony, I definitely invite everyone to go to a cacao ceremony where there is a shaman or an initiated facilitator there who has gone through years of a beautiful experience connecting directly with the cacao, so they can share this story and they can support you in experiencing the same journey. And then you can take it home and you can create your ritual, your daily ritual or daily practice with the cacao. That's how I started. I did not intend to host ceremonies. I just was like, wow, something is incredible about this. How did I not know that the main ingredient to make chocolate is actually sacred? What does this even mean? I want to experience the sacredness of this. And that started my daily journey, talking to her, drinking her every day and talking to her. And at first, not really sure. What do I say? How do I say it? And then days and weeks went by and I started to share more and become even more specific with her on how I was feeling about certain things, about some of my limitations. And I started to receive these beautiful messages, which you will as well, because you are opening up the channel. The messages start to come to you. And one of the most profound messages that came to me, which I love to share with everybody, is this message of an affirmation that we can bring to ourselves every day, as many times as we can every day. And that is this: when you catch yourself sharing a belief about something, state the belief. Maybe you state it out. Maybe it's something that's happening in your mind, or maybe you're talking to somebody and you're sharing a belief. So you would state the belief and then you would say, and I am open to expanding this belief based on new information, new expansive information coming to me from the higher levels of consciousness, from the higher awareness. When we ask, we receive. And when we are saying two things specifically, I invite a new belief, because sometimes we have a belief and that's my belief and that's it and this is what it is. And we cannot grow and expand our awareness when this is only our belief. So even though we have to be open to, at different levels of consciousness, there are different beliefs around why are we really here? Why is all this crazy stuff happening in the world? There's different understandings and perspectives. So when we invite, even though we can't quite comprehend them right now, we might have a specific belief, this is crazy what's going on in the world right now, or this thing right here with health, whatever we believe in. However, I'm open to a new belief, an expanded belief around this topic based on information coming to me from the higher awareness, from the love and above consciousnesses. And that is when we are inviting. It's very important to say from the higher places, because otherwise we might get it from the rabbit hole. Right? Mm-hmm. And you know what that's like, right? We end up, there's so many perspectives around everything. And so it's inviting the higher perspectives from the higher consciousness. And that's why I call it the magic carpet ride. The cacao, although it's not a psychedelic, it has been profoundly expansive for me daily in terms of literally beaming me out daily into the cosmos to remember why we're here, so I don't get caught up in the fear of today, and so that I can feel safe, even though there's all these stories happening around me, feel safe and protected and loved, and even the creator, knowing that there's a big shift happening, and that the more I focus on this, the more I am affecting the collective versus trying to change the collective. And that is what the medicines are here to help us to do.
I heard you say about how when we remember and we learn that we are the creators, and I heard you say about how important it is to be open and state our clear intentions. I wonder if one of the reasons all of this is being made available to those of us who are just people going through this, we're not shamans, we're not conscious teachers, that one of the reasons that this is being made aware to all of us is because our lack of openness is destroying us.
Yes.
Our willingness to look outside ourselves, let other people set our intentions for us, to tell us how it is, our division, our closed-mindedness, it's killing us. And I wonder if that's part of why these medicines are now available to everyone, not because there's something to escape from, but what I hear you saying is there's something to join in on. There's something to take part in, that maybe it's time to reclaim some power, some intentionality, some mindfulness, some connection with the divine.
Yes, exactly. The medicines are coming out of the jungles faster than ever before right now. You hear about them everywhere. You know, you can have a cacao ceremony sometimes in a yoga studio before your yoga class. There are people mixing the medicines. It's a profound time in humanity, and everybody will agree with this, with what's happening right now. And now more than ever, these plants are here to help us to open up our hearts. And, Karen, I truly believe, and I'm going to say something really radical here, but I truly believe that if it were not for our beautiful Indigenous families understanding how to take these little seeds, and our ancestors and our beautiful creators of chocolate, how to turn this into chocolate. I truly believe if it were not for us figuring out how to turn this beautiful, pure cacao sacred plant into chocolate, that it would be illegal in many countries. And we know that many plant medicines are illegal in many countries because it has been incredibly misunderstood and disrespected over the years. And but that is changing. That is changing as we start to understand there's so many beautiful experiences with plant medicines and stories of all kinds of plant medicines. And with cacao, the world's creating chocolate, which is the world's favorite food. Of course, they can't say, oh, no, this is illegal. Can't use this anymore. I mean, people would go crazy, right? But in its pure sacred form, when you bring intention, when you bring love, devotion, reverence, when you speak to the spirit, Mama Cacao, thank you for calling on me, for seeing my readiness. I am ready. Yes, I am ready. Help me to be even more ready. Let me share with you what's going on in my life right now, that I feel afraid or I feel unclear. And I would love for you to help me to expand my perspectives around this. Ask and you shall receive. And that is when the magic carpet ride begins. And we start to go through this incredible journey of remembering who we just are, right? We know that we've just masked up ourselves, right? With all of this different stuff. I've heard this beautiful quote the other day. It was, seek relationships and environments where you can be fully seen and expressed. And that is who we are. We came into Earth School perfect little, creatures of oneness, right? We're like these perfect expressions of love. And then we just started to take on everyone's fears, right? Fears and beliefs. And we've been, this is the beautiful journey of just removing those fears and beliefs, removing them to get back to our pure, divine souls and self, which is LOVE, love. That is who we are. And the medicines wish us to teach us to journey, to get lost in love, to let love be our guide, to let love guide us every day. What would love say right now? How would love answer this person right now? What would love do in this situation right now? Constantly remembering that we are love and coming back to love. And that is this beautiful transformation and reclamation that's happening right now. And these medicines are here to help us through that.
So for listeners who are curious or who might be hearing that call of Mama Cacao, how can they learn more? What's the next step?
Yes, well, it's so beautiful. I created a free 5-day drink cacao with me challenge. And it's a video series. I love it. It's so beautiful. It starts with me at the stove making my cacao, very short, very easy to make, just so everyone can make their cacao or at least see how to make it. Even the way we make the cacao is a sacred process. So that video is beautiful, being present with the cacao. And then over the next 5 days, there's a short little video of me talking more about cacao. What is cacao? How can cacao support you? How can we speak to her? And you have your cacao at home. I have my cacao in the video. And at the end of that video, we drink the cacao together and we sit in a few moments of silence together. Mm-hmm. And then as I finish the video, I close up the video, you're encouraged to stay a few more minutes so that you can get used to being on your own with the cacao. And after day 5, you now know how to continue this gorgeous practice at home. And so it's a beautiful way to just have everyday little video sent to your email and you just watch it. And it's an incredible sacred practice that has been instrumental in my life at just helping me to remember more and more the love that I am. And it is one of the most exciting topics, as you can see, that I love to talk about because it's such a simple thing. And on top of that, if I can sprinkle in very quickly too, that's just the spiritual significance that I've shared with you. The cacao is a superfruit. It is the original superfruit. It is jam-packed with everything we need to sustain our physical body and to help us to thrive, especially today. For example, there are so many natural chemicals within it that are created in our brain, that are ignited in our brain that help us to feel good. Serotonin, dopamine, anandamide, PEA. Anandamide is the bliss chemical that makes us feel like we're infatuated, that same feeling we get when we're in love. So imagine how many people are struggling with mental health or on some sort of pharmaceuticals to help them to get through the day. Imagine a cup of cacao, the physical, and that's just 4 things I've told you. There's over 100 reasons why, how this beautiful cacao, natural cacao product can help your physical body as well, your mind, your body, and your spirit.
Judy, thank you so much for sharing with us. Your passion really comes through, and that sense of openness really comes through. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen, for everything that you're doing. You are such a beautiful light, such a beautiful presence. I am so grateful to be here with you. I feel you and I love you.
Thank you, Judy. That's Judy Machado. You can find out more about her and her work at goddesstemplecacao.com. Take a look out for that 5-day challenge so that you can learn more. That's goddesstemplecacao.com. And you're always welcome at karenhager.com. It's a great place to find out about upcoming classes and events. You can even book a private intuitive session with me there if you're so inclined. And if you like what you're hearing, would you please rate and review this podcast wherever you're listening? That helps us reach more people and it helps us keep bringing great guests to the program. Thank you for listening today. Together, we are spreading a little more light in the world, and a little more light is always a good thing. Until next time, I'm wishing you peace.